Me and a couple folks from the office signed up on this website, Major League Fantasy, where you can play single-day fantasy sports with real money. Things can get a little heated on there.
What up, player? Welcome to my house now. Ho, 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 ho. What's up, Ross? Don't tell Ross about the barbecue.
Yeah, I like to play fantasy sports. I also used to like Simon.
Think fast! We're all going on a company picnic later, by the way, if you want to come. I don't know what your plans are.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill him.
Boom! What up, mother? I got you!
Guys.
Oh, hell no.
All right, so a lot of people have been asking for this MLF video. So if you haven't, if you're unaware, there's a reality show on my channel. If you got to go way back, I'll link in the description. But so I did a reality show that was about me building my company. The same creators that did Undercover Boss made it, so it's obviously, you know, top quality. It was on the Esquire network. It was supposed to go to full series, right? Like it was going to be a full series that was all about me building this company. And ultimately, Esquire network like folded. And so the show got lost. And with it, everything. So basically, I was in the I was in the fantasy sports business. So I had a company that basically had a better product than DraftKings, right? So DraftKings Daily Fantasy, we had a fully integrated social network. And the bottom line is we had a much better product than them. We had a way better concept. These guys, the guys who started it, I looked at their like them and FanDuel. I'm like, these guys look like they never played fantasy sports. Like this is like mechanical poker. This is not what fantasy sports is about. Fantasy sports is about playing and then talking shit to your friends. It's about engaging with other people. It's about seeing what your record is against everyone. So you go to a guy's profile and it's like, you know, because you play in these huge tournaments. So like maybe I got 25th in a tournament and this guy got 200th, right? So I was just outside the money, but I beat that guy. So then when I go to his profile, it's like, oh shit, I've played in 20 of the same contests as this guy and I'm 14-6 against him. So like you'd always know your record against them. You could post on their wall. You could write private messages. Basically the whole nine, like everything that you could do on any other social network integrated to DraftKings for all intents and purposes, okay? So obviously, as you guys hear this, you're gonna be like, Jesus, that's a really good idea. I'd be like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Really good idea. And so where my gap was exposure, right? Because you can build the best product ever. And if you don't have marketing dollars to compete, it's completely irrelevant. No one will ever know about it, okay? And I realize like people who are outside of business think that like, well, if it's good enough, then people will just share it with each other. Okay, that's not how it works. Okay, especially with a company like that has a social network where you need critical mass for it to be fun. Like, who cares if you have amazing tools? If there's 5 people on it, how cool is a social network? 0, right? So the bottom line is, I needed exposure, and I knew for sure that if I got that exposure, I was going to beat these guys. And they were both worth over $1 billion at the time. Now, DraftKings is supposedly worth $12 billion right now. I have officially, I will say publicly, I have shorted that stock because it's super overvalued, laughably overvalued. So as you guys see DraftKings stock goes down, you can know Jesse on Fire is making money. Anyway, but yeah, so bottom line is they had raised so much money, like hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars they had raised. And so this TV show was my equalizer. So it was two-pronged. Okay, number one, the TV show was going to give us exposure well beyond what they could pay for, right? Like they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on commercials, right? They're commercials. It's like, hey, play on DraftKings. Hey, that's a shipload of money. Hey, play on FanDuel. Hey, FanDuel's commercials were so bad, man. But it was, just pumping it out like, hey, play. Where I knew the TV show was going to be like, not only here is the product, but like, here's Jesse. And here's this guy who's so passionate about this product or this project that it's bleeding out of his eyes. He can't even fucking talk about it without crying on camera. He cares so much about it. And I knew that people would get emotionally attached to my journey. Like I was basically, the TV show in conjunction with the product, I was going to tie myself to it the way Dana White is tied to UFC, where we were indistinguishable. Major League Fantasy was Jesse Merle's company, and you know, and at the same time, it's like I didn't care about the fame at all. Like when I'm saying like at all, I'm talking zero. Okay, I just knew that I was excellent on camera. I knew that when I'm talking like this, like, you know, I'm not talking Jesse, I'm like, when I'm just talking and I'm talking about something that matters to me, I can't keep the passion in if I try. It just vomits out, right? It's just like I talk and people can feel what I feel. It's not something I do on purpose. I learned this, you know, and I've learned it from being on camera it's a gift that I have, I guess. I mean, it's just, I'm an open book emotionally. And so I just knew that if I was completely honest and completely open during this show, that people would get super attached to the journey. Like they would get really emotionally tied to the brand and they would never play on those guys' products. Because I was going to make it to where it would be betrayal to play on DraftKings or FanDuel. Just simple as that. Like if you were with me, that would be betrayal. And the show was going to enable me to do that, right? And you know, like the same way I tell you guys all the time that I'm excellent at reading people, I'm also excellent at knowing how people will respond to things. And I just knew that that's exactly what would happen. It would be inspiring for people to watch. Go watch it, you know, watch it. And I knew, I mean, it was very intentional. It's like, all I have to do is tell them how I really feel, and it's going to inspire people because I put it all on the line. I mean, plain and simple, I put it all on the line. Just like in the videos that I've talked about, like with DC and when he cried after the John Jones fight, and Dustin Poirier after he lost to Khabib, and what that meant to those guys. I understand because that's what I did. I went all in, 100% all in, like as all in as you can go, financially, emotionally, everything. I was completely unavailable to anyone in my life for years because I did not have room for anything else, like nothing. I don't think I talked to my wife about any other thing except that company for 3 years. Literally, I would watch her eyes glaze over. I would bring it up and she would just be like, you know, she's like, Jesus, bro, I can't talk about this shit anymore. It was the only thing that mattered to me. And, which is why, and I knew by the time the show was like supposed to go, I knew the show was our only hope. It was like the show's going to go and we're going to be worth $1 billion, or it's not going to go and we're fucked and I'm going to have to sell the company. Because there's no way I can catch these guys otherwise. Just plain and simple. There's just no way I can catch them otherwise. They've raised too much money. You know, they're doing, FanDuel did $20 million round. I was like, Jesus, I got to catch up. By the time that we were in 2015, it's like, oh, FanDuel did a $275 million round of funding. Oh, DraftKings did a $300 million round. Okay, I'm not going to be able to catch them. The TV show, all that helps me because that is how much attention is on this industry, to where when people start watching, people are like, dude, yeah, you know, DraftKings FanDuel, have you seen this reality show that's on Esquire? Like Esquire, they're so fucking stupid. You understand? I tried to explain this to him. I was like, okay. Now, what ultimately happened was Esquire was running out of money. That's I didn't understand, because they're telling us, yeah, the show's a go. And we're like, why are you guys dragging your feet? Do you understand? Every eyeball in the fucking country is on daily fantasy. FanDuel and DraftKings, they are advertising hundreds of millions of dollars about our industry. All you have to do, just do the fucking show. Just do the fucking show. Do the fucking show. I got on a conference call with them, you know, like where I got the production company, the guy, Studio Lambert, who did Undercover Boss. I was like, let me talk to Esquire directly. I lost my shit completely. I literally was screaming into a video call. I was just, do you guys not understand? Just do the fucking show. I was like, it's gonna fucking work. Just do the fucking show. And, yeah, they didn't do the show because they didn't do any shows because they ran out of money, because they made decisions like another show they did. I mean, prior to, it's not like they chose this over ours. They did a show called The Candidate, which was, you know, Esquire Network was supposed to be like demographic 20 to 45 male. And they did it about Clay Aiken, who, I mean, I have no problem with, you know, this lifestyle, but who's a homosexual who got caught masturbating over a video chat. You know, like that was the most recent story about him. You know, and he ran for office and he lost. And so the reality show was him running for office when everyone knew that he lost. Okay? Like, dude, like, how would you think that show's gonna be popular? And I want you to seriously, like, when you guys watch mine, then go watch an episode of the Clay Aiken show and just be like, wait. They put money behind that, and then they didn't put money behind yours. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, here's the thing. Every person who's ever watched the episode has been like, this is literally the best show I've ever seen about business ever. I'm talking like 100%, but 100%. I've never had a single person watch it and not tell me that. Like, I'm not joking. 100% of people who have watched it are like, this is the best reality show I've ever seen about business ever. How the fuck did they not make it? I'm like, I can give you their names. You know, they don't work at Esquire anymore, but I can give you their names. You can ask them. So, you know, so we ended up selling the company to a company called Latitude 360, $8.5 million. A lot of that in stock. And then Google Latitude 360 prison. So you can see how that story ends. Latitude 360. You first look up Latitude 360 Major League Fantasy, then look up Latitude 360 prison. Or Brent Brown, Latitude 360 prison. So, yeah, it didn't have a happy ending. We got some money, but not the number that is listed in the press releases. And then simultaneously, what happened was DraftKings and FanDuel, they put so much money out in marketing that they got the attention of every fucking legislator in the country. And then all of a sudden, states started knocking down daily fantasy illegal, daily fantasy illegal, daily fantasy illegal, daily fantasy illegal, to where all the smaller players who went to like investors to go raise money, and they're like, we can't put money behind this shit. Like, every state's making it illegal. No one would invest in that space. Now, DraftKings ended up raising literally like they took in like $1 billion in funding, which is why they had to go public, right? Like, so they just went public. FanDuel got acquired for like $750 million, which sounds like a lot, except that they had raised more than that. So their founders made no money. DraftKings they went all in, man. Jason Robbins, I know Jason Robbins, their CEO. I know him. He's a stud. He is a stud. Some of the other people at that company, we can do a different video about that. But I have a problem with some of the other people there. That as my channel gets bigger, I'll make that a little more public. But I'm going to keep that one in the holster till I have a much bigger following. Maybe I'll offer them. I'll be like, hey, why don't you guys put me on DK Live, and then we can call it even. You know, feature me on DK Live, then we can call it square, and I won't have to go to war with you guys publicly. Maybe we could do that. Do I look like a person that do you think I'm going to forget what you guys did? Or, do you think I'll fucking forget? Or do you think maybe we should work something out? But again, we'll wait till I get a little bit bigger before we have that discussion. I wait until I have leverage before I make threats. That's not a threat. I'm just threatening that I'm going to threaten you. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I could probably do a much longer video, but the whole thing about just to demonstrate like how much that shit mattered to me. So we filmed the sizzle reel, which is like it's like a 3 or 4. Well, actually, I was like 8, but like somewhere under 10 minutes, which is basically a preview of the show. And then you take it around to the networks and try to sell it. And we filmed the whole thing. And the last thing that we were going to film was my interview, which was, they were going to do like 2.5 hours of footage of me talking. And then, obviously use that to narrate the whole thing. And he led off with a question that was like, talk to me about what this means to you. What does this project represent in your life? And I tried to answer that question, and I completely lost my shit. And I couldn't get through 3 words without breaking down completely. And that lasted for the entire interview. Like, I couldn't talk. Because, the thing about I think I just said this actually in my other video, was when I lost my shit about the DC thing, and I said it's because it was coming from a place that you can only tap into through an axe wound, like an emotional axe wound. Like you have to get to the place that I'm talking about is a fucking axe. It's the only way in there is an axe wound. except in this case, it was the same, like, it's a part of yourself you just don't know is there unless you care so deeply about something that, like, even trying to, like, verbalize it, you'll just lose your shit. So when they cut the sizzle together, they literally had, like, they would have, like, one sentence to go on because I couldn't sew it back up. It was like it's not like I didn't go around my life fucking doing that, you know, like, it's not like I was, anytime I talked about the project, I just lost my shit. It was something about that question, though, where I tried to talk about it, and when I tried to verbalize it, you know, it was like it's like touching your funny bone or something, or that's a bad example, but, like, I don't know how else to describe it. It was like I couldn't zip myself back up. So that's how much that fucking project meant to me. And that won't be any mystery when you watch the show, assuming that you guys watch it. But yeah, so when these guys, DC, fucking Dustin, talk about this shit, I get it. So anyway, that's what I got. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Peace.